In a time of information overload, negativity, and darkness in the world, two naturally big-breasted, intellectual, self-identified genius women have taken it upon themselves to share their light with the world in the form of a podcast. Welcome to the Amanda Berger School of Awesome Rules to Live By.
We are back, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to episode number 3 of the Amanda Berger School of Awesome podcast, everybody. My name is Professor Berger.
Dr. Jones.
And yes, thank you so much for joining us here today. Today, we will be discussing a lot of information. There has been a ton of updates with the both of us. Like a ton.
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. It's been like a month basically since Anyways, so it's been a while. And today our episode we are going to be talking about life philosophies. Woo! Super excited. But before we get into it, let's freaking talk about our little updates of what we got on.
Am I up first?
Yeah. How about you talk about what's going on with you first?
Oh, yeah. So our first episode, it was all about my abortion. Then our second episode was about how I took a friend to seek abortion services. Yes. And lo and behold, I have more abortion updates for episode 3. Can you believe it? Because now I've had a second abortion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry. There we go.
Yeah. So now I've had a second abortion. So I am here today.
Second abortion, everybody.
I'm like 3 or 4 weeks out of my last abortion. So I've been pregnant since like April at this point.
Yeah. Our friend had that first abortion and then
learned nothing, I guess.
Decided to go back for more, baby. Got a second one right after. What was the like timeline between like, so you were like not pregnant for like
I was not
3 days
for like 3 weeks.
For 3 weeks. Hey, yeah. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy too because I was the exact same. Unless they were just reading the same file, I was like the exact same amount of pregnant. So I was like 6 weeks pregnant at the point that I went to the doctor. At least this time around though, I was like, I think I know what's happening to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say your body, you're probably like, okay, I'm getting these signs.
Well, I just throw up a lot, so I was like, and we're throwing up. And then I was like, I started searching my text messages for how often I said the word period, because I will text everyone when I'm on my period, as every person who gets a period does. And I was like, in the span of this year, I've had like 3 periods. Why was I not alerted more? Like, I had a text from like March, and then the next text was like July. And I was like, friend.
Clock
it. Yeah. So this experience was very easy. I was like, I'm pregnant. Take the test. Pregnant. Clearly.
Knew exactly where to go.
Well, I tried to switch it up this time. I was like, let's try a little Planned Parenthood because clearly your girl needs help with some birth control. And Planned Parenthood was like, yeah, we good. And then they called me like day of and they're like, it's going to be $560 because you have insurance. And they were like, and your insurance doesn't cover it. And I was like, oh, so if I have insurance and it doesn't, and my insurance won't cover it, then you charge me $500. If I didn't have insurance, it would be free. I don't know. So I was like, thank you very much. I will seek an abortion elsewhere.
Yeah, dang, yeah, that's really interesting how that works.
Yeah.
Is it because they were like, you just had one, or is it because...
No, they had no idea. It was a different place.
Okay,
yeah. They were just like, your insurance doesn't cover abortion services, but because you have insurance, we have to charge you. But if you didn't have insurance, we wouldn't charge you.
I would have never known that, ever.
Yeah. So then I went to the same clinic I went to last time. I was like all scared. I'm like, they're going to shame me. They're going to hate me. They said nothing. They were just like, boom, bow, bow. It was so quick. It was so fast. I did it on a Friday. Let me take everything home with me. I could do it all by myself. So that was cool. And then I was supposed to go back this week to make sure my uterus was empty. And they called me and they're like, you lied. And I was like, I lied.
You lied.
They're like, you
What?
said you didn't have insurance and you do. So like if you come in today, you're gonna have to like have a consultation with a doctor and it's gonna be like $500. And I was like, man, it's cool. It's all right. I think it did its job. I think I'm not pregnant anymore. So I'm just gonna move forward. I just stopped bleeding.
That was going to be my next question. Yeah. Did you have any, like, was it a similar experience as it was last time? Or were there any differences? Sounds like the only difference was you just knew exactly what to do. And
No, yeah, it wasn't different at all. It was like the exact same thing. And I did this. I had a false period again, too, where I just like was bleeding for a minute. And I got scared because it was a lot of blood at first. And I was like, am I something bad happening? Because I didn't bleed for like a week or two. And then I bled again for like a week or two. And I was like, that's strange. But I Googled it and it's fine. And it happened the first time. But yeah, so I am here today. No blood. Yay!
Woo! All right. I love that.
Yeah, so that was cool. If anyone has birth control recommendations, hit the comments. I clearly need them.
Did you talk to them at Planned Parenthood or anything?
I haven't talked to no, but I gotta go to a doctor.
Okay.
Yeah, but my health insurance stuff is like in Orange County, and I don't want to do that, so I have to like move. It's a whole process. But hopefully by the next episode, I have at least spoken to a doctor about birth control. That's my goal here.
Cool. Yeah, I love that. I'll try to hold you accountable for that as well.
Yeah, I think I don't want to be pregnant for a third time. And
I don't know if you could take it any. Yeah, this guy.
I'm like, might as well have that one. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna have that one. Yeah. So that's my abortion update. Hopefully, no more abortion updates.
Yeah. So not one, but two, everybody.
Not one, but two. My friend that I helped with, she met someone today who took one of our bookmarks. We have one that says like, "Thank God for the abortion pill." Oh, I have one for you. Yes. And this lady picked one up today and was like, I've had like 6 of them. And was like all hyped on it. And I was like, awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who have used that as a means of birth control. I am not trying to inspire anything from you because I don't think it's good for you, I'm sure, especially because you're a little guy. And you just,
my hormones cannot.
Yeah.
My hormones cannot. I felt like a crazy person since April. So I'm happy to be here today. Hopefully less crazy than I have been for the last 5 months.
I love that so much. That's very beautiful and special.
Yeah, I feel great about life. I was feeling cuckoo bananas for a minute. Unwell.
Completely. I mean, I was also feeling cuckoo bananas for other reasons,
Sometimes
the hormone excuse. The hormones. That's a great one to be using. So yeah,
like,
amen.
I just burst out into tears. Pregnancy.
Woo!
I was just pregnant.
Yeah.
So it is a nice excuse.
Yeah.
But that's the one fun part. I went to Chicago since we last met. I've never left the West Coast, so that was very exciting for me. I somehow chose the most Long Beachian town in the Midwest to go to somehow. Yeah. I went there for work. I was able to attend a conference. I went to a socialism conference in Chicago, which is super cool. But yeah, Chicago is super beautiful. 500 million things to do. Had a really great time in Chicago and leaving Long Beach for a little bit.
Yeah, I love Chicago. When I went to Chicago, it was like the absolute most buck nasty time of my entire existence. I've told you my Chicago stories. Yeah, terrible. Insane. Very fun. But yeah, that's so fun. I'm glad that you got to go and like check it out.
I had a very
Midwest
tourist
goes crazy
experience on purpose. I was like, I'm going to run around town and do the architecture tour and eat a bunch of food. I was just eating.
That's so fun though.
It was super fun. Other than that, started school. You started school too. School is super fun. Love school. I love school.
Yeah, amen.
It does kind of go with today, which is cool. I've been talking a lot about political theory in my political theory class. And so it's been fun to think about that in conjunction with what we've been planning for our life philosophy episodes.
Yes.
And then, we have the same therapist now.
Oh, yeah. I started
therapist now.
Yeah, I really was like, holy shit, I should really start going to therapy. And you always give me advice of what your therapist says to you, and I was always like, wow, that is just so cool, and she sounds so interesting and like wonderful and introspective. And her website, it was like, I'm looking for clients who have an in-depth like self-curiosity, like wanting to just learn more about and I just like basically her entire page resonated with me so much, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. And then my insurance goes with her too,
which is crazy because my insurance does not. It's very expensive for me to see her.
So I was like, and my insurance is the only insurance that they take too, so I was like, holy alignment, so I was like sick. And I love that. My next therapy session with our therapist.
With our therapist
is on Friday. So I'm super excited for that. I like can't wait to just like write down like, oh my God. I'm so excited to be back in therapy. Like, I've been in and out of therapy for freaking ever, but like I'm just really excited to be like an adult and being like, I want to do this. Not because like the school was like, you need to go to therapy, Mitch, or like things like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
this is my only therapist I've ever had in my entire life, and I sought it out on my own. And her page is much different now. She was still a student when I got her, so okay. Her page was definitely not as like thought out and cohesive. I feel like she's like defined herself as a therapist on her own now. But yeah, hers had a mushroom emoji, which resonated with me. And then it talks a lot about somatic therapy because she does a lot of somatic stuff. Yes. And that resonated with me because I felt super disconnected from my body. So I was like, it'd be cool to have someone that makes me breathe. And what's interesting too, while we're talking about her, she's super cool, awesome. Shouts out to her. She also speaks in riddles, which we both love. Which she just speaks in riddles. It's just, if anyone can speak to me in abstract concepts and make me understand myself through an abstract concept, I'm like obsessed. And that's all she ever does. But we were talking about the somatic stuff in my last session, and she was like, when we started, you couldn't even close your eyes. She's like, you couldn't even close your eyes. And I was like, I did not know that. I forgot that. She's like, yeah, if I asked you to close your eyes and take a breath, that was a struggle. And she's like, now look at you. And I was like, oh, that's so nice of you. So it's been cool to reflect on that, because I did feel really cringy. I remember being really embarrassed trying to do somatic stuff with her. So I'm excited.
That's a great step though. That's so exciting. Yeah, I can't wait till we could dissect that one together, dude. That's so gonna be hysterical.
I know, it's so nice. And it's nice too because we're adults. So it's not weird to have the same therapist, because it's when the fuck am I gonna talk like my friend with my podcast? Yeah, we're not impacting each other, because I'm doing deep dive, and I'm sure you're gonna be doing deep dive stuff too, and it's
100%.
You're not in my childhood trauma, so we're good pushing forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I just feel so blessed to have her and have that connection, and I don't know, I'm just so excited to start the journey.
I have been thinking about she will perceive each other through each other now, which will be interesting. I've thought that's funny. I'm like, oh, she's gonna see me differently now that she's gonna know Amanda, and vice versa. But I kind of like that. I'm like, it's a nice little different insight into our lives that is not in a negative therapy way. So yeah, but that leads into your updates. What you been doing?
Oh, heavens.
That you can talk about on the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so something really, really, really fucking gnarly went down in my life recently that I have been legally advised to not talk about. Yeah. But with that being said, I turned 25. Turned 25 recently. I had a really fun birthday party.
So fun.
It was a crow-themed murder mystery party, and so my buddy Maddie and I got together, and we wrote all these really funny character descriptions, and basically had all of our friends come over and do this improv acting murder mystery scene. It was hysterical. Best time ever. Everyone did so good. It was awesome.
So good.
And yeah, another crazy journey that I am embarking on is I am sober from alcohol.
From alcohol.
Yeah.
Me too.
yeah. So I am no longer drinking because I think I was like an alcoholic. Like,
our therapist told me I was. Did she tell you
she
were?
told me I was an alcoholic too. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, alcohol has affected my life really negatively. Basically, there's no good things alcohol has ever brought in, like, ever to me, basically. Like, I guess it's fun to, like, go sit at the bar and, like, have a it's literally not. So I've taken alcohol completely out of my life, and I'm almost 3 weeks sober. Which doesn't, it's like, it's kind of like, all right, bitch, like, 3 weeks sober, but like, dude, I was drinking so much, like, all the time. Alcohol was such a huge part of my life, and yeah, so I've completely taken that away. So I've been crushing non-alcoholic beers.
I'm telling you, it's the only way. Every time anyone has ever asked me about, because I have been sober. I mean, I've had a beer here and there. For over a year now. Yeah. And anytime anyone asks me, like, oh, how'd you do it? And I'm like, I literally needed fake beers. I don't need them now that I'm here. But, like, because I was still going out. Like, we were outside when I first went sober. Like, we were at shows, we were at bars, we were outside. And I was like, I can't survive this unless I feel included. And the way to feel included is to have a little drinky poo.
Yeah.
And I need a drink that feels like I'm there. And no one's paying attention to what anyone's drinking. No one knows you're drinking a non-alcoholic beer. There's so many times someone's like, oh, can I get you a beer? And they, like, grab my beer to turn around. And they're like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, fake. It's a fake beer.
Even at my birthday party, you were so lovely, wonderful, too, because you were, like, the mocktail bartender, which was super cute. And a lot of people in my life already don't drink alcohol, really.
I have a ton of sober friends I didn't even realize. People don't even know you're sober. There is so many times I'm outside where people are like, you're not drinking, you've had drinks all night, and I'm like, it's a pineapple juice. It's a little soda water with bitters. Like, it's just literally not.
I feel like right now in my, like, journey of not drinking alcohol, I, like, have to tell people.
Yeah, no, there is a point where you need everyone to know that you're sober. For sure.
And when I had my birthday party, I was, like, about a week into being sober, but everyone was like, oh, Amanda, like, drinks like a fucking crazy person. Turn up. And so everyone brought me, like, a ton of alcohol and stuff, and when I was like, oh, I'm, like, sober, everyone was just like, oh, like, okay. Everyone's super nice and supportive too, or whatever. But it's funny because I mean, I have a ton of alcohol at my house right now and, like, in my fridge, but I'm just like, I am so, like, I just can't, like, I just don't.
It was the same way for me too when I got sober. My fridge was literally filled with beers. I just brought it to a party. The next time I went to a party, I was like, hey, everyone. And it's like 32 ounces of Bud Light. It's stupid shit. And I'm just like, here's my whole fridge because I don't want this. Yeah. But I'm excited for your sobriety journey. I think sobriety is for everybody. And I think
I feel so much better. Like,
dude, the way I did it, when I first did it, a big reason for me, like, not even my life and stuff, was like, I wanted to sleep really good. It fucks your REM cycle up so bad. That's why you wake up so groggy all the time. Like, it's just you just feel so clear-headed. I'm so excited for you to get to, like, the 6-month point, because, like, the emotional, mental clarity, you didn't even realize that you were being fogged up. Like, it's so incredibly nice.
Yeah, I'm excited to get, like, I just feel freaking awesome. Like, I really do.
So
I feel like I'm kind of in that, like, douchebag vibe right now where I'm like,
you have to suck your own dick for a second. Like, you have to. You saw me on Instagram all the time. I was like, I'm better than all of you. I don't drink alcohol. Like, I needed that for a minute, especially coming from where I came from, where it was like an alcoholic influenced my decision to be sober. So I was like, that shit nasty and gross.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be way better than that. And I just think that, like, if you think you're an alcoholic, you are. If you think you're an alcoholic, you are.
I was scared that I wasn't going to be able to stop. Yeah. Like, I literally, like, the idea of not drinking scared the hell out of me. Like, I was like, am I going to be able to do that? Like, yeah. So it really scared the hell out of me. And then, that being said, I was like, oh, shit, girl. Like, check yourself. Like, that's fucking crazy.
I got the shakes. I told you, I got the shakes.
That's crazy, yeah.
7 days into sobriety, I got the shakes. And I did it just for school and stuff, too. And so 7 days in shaking, I was like, maybe I have a real problem. And I should address that. But McKenna did the same thing to me. She was like, I was like, I don't think I'm an alcoholic or anything. Like, I just don't want to drink and, like, don't have a necessarily healthy relationship with drinking. And then she was like, do you drink to get drunk? I was like, yeah. She's like, you drink this many drinks a week? I was like, yeah. And she's like, you're an alcoholic. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, it's very, like, simple questions.
That literally makes everybody an alcoholic.
Because
everybody drinks to get drunk, and everyone drinks more than 2 drinks a week. Like,
like, everybody's an alcoholic. But, like,
that ass.
Like, I don't know.
Unless you're drinking, like, a glass of wine, like, once a month at a social gathering, you're probably, if you live in Long Beach, you're probably an alcoholic. Like,
yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to start going to AA and stuff, too.
Oh, yeah, I'm really excited. I want to go to AA.
Yeah, just because, like, I don't know. I really want to, like, seal this fucking deal for me. And also, AA is, like, from what I've been told, a very, like, spiritual, like...
You can make it your own.
It's almost like a church type of vibe, and that I'm just, like...
it is religious, yeah.
I kind of like that. Like, I'm like interested in that, you know. I'm not gonna become like some like devout Christian vibe or anything.
Well, they make it all like spiritual now because like people don't want the Christianity vibe, so it'll all be about like your own, like you define God and like you define all your own stuff.
I'm just so obsessed and like I'm super excited for that. So
McKenna was telling me the Serenity prayer the other day, which I think they use in AA.
God grant me the serenity to it's like change like, the things or like it's something
God
badass.
Grant me like the courage and the wisdom and the some shit.
Something badass.
But yeah, she was saying that shit to me the other day, and I was like, "Am I in AA with you?"
Yeah, straight up, dude.
No, yeah, but that's really exciting. I think sobriety is super cool. I think eliminating alcohol from your life like it only has benefits. The only downside is like I'm a little less social, but I'm like still very social. But like when I'm at places that are like drinking predominant, I want to go home after a couple hours where like I probably could have stayed out all night.
Yeah, I kind of get tired. Yeah, especially.
I'm like, I think I saw, I could see when you're drunk, you're like, there's more to come. There's not more to come. I'm going to go home.
Yeah, for real. And like, yeah, it was also really interesting too because I'm like dating again a little bit, you know? Mm-hmm. And so like I went on my first like sober date the other day. And I have never, this sounds crazy as hell to some, but also people fucking get it. I feel like it's like I've never been on a first date like, and I was like sober.
Oh yeah, well, because most first dates I feel like people get drinks.
Yeah, 100%. Like, or I would go and like drink a glass of wine before like meeting up with somebody. Like I'd be like, listen to yeah. And I like feel like I loved myself so much and like I did really good and I was like really proud of myself for like doing that and like being sober for that and like hanging out with people that I don't know and like being in a new social situation and not using the crutch of alcohol. I felt bad.
No, it feels cool.
Yeah, it was dope. And people around us were like drinking and stuff too. And I was just, and somebody like offered me like a swig of whiskey. And I was like, no, thank you. I'm in recovery right now. Like I was like
You can do really fun stories and stuff like later on people are like, trying to hand you a drink, be like, you're gonna make me relapse, like you used to joke.
I say, I love that.
Like, are you gonna relapse tonight? I'm like, no.
God, look at you all the time and ask it. Yeah, I would just like curse to say it, but I'd be like, oh, let's relapse tonight, like, oh, like kidding. Even the other night when we were out, I was like, let's go get fucked up, like yeah. And I was like kidding, like, ugh, my God.
No, it's so funny. I really enjoy it. I'm really excited. It's also nice to have another sober person in my life because I'm like, we gotta find new activities to do. I'm making everybody do new things. Like,
oop, hold on, pause everybody, a siren's gonna go by and it's gonna be really loud.
I'm like what did we do the other day? We did so many things. We like went to a coffee shop, we went to a Goodwill, we went to I took you to Del Amo Plaza.
That place is crazy.
Yeah, but I'm like, you just have to like you have to be a little more engaged in life. When you're sober, you're like, my default can't be drinking.
I was listening to a Gene Simmons interview, the Kiss guy, right?
Yes, of course.
And he was like, talks about how he's like sober.
Yeah.
And like how if he like ever hooks up with somebody, he's like, they're sober too. Like, I don't want, like, I'm going to go kill these animals right now. Just kidding, I'm not actually, but I'm going to go take a look at this dog in a second. I'm sorry. He was like, I want whoever I'm going to be with to be sober because why would I want someone to like numb their senses? Like around me. Like, they should, like, experience every part of me, like sober. And I was like, that's like a weird thing to say, but like I fuck with it. Like, I was like, yeah, like, why would you want to numb your senses going about life? Like,
no, I mean, that's how I feel now that I've been sober for so long. And every time I do drink, because, you know, I have like a vacation beer, I'll have like a drink here and there.
You've reevaluated your relationship with alcohol a lot, though. And it's been, so that's totally in the cards for you.
But I don't even like it. Every single time I drink, I'm like, ugh, like, that wasn't even fun. And I was the type of person, too, who was like going to drink forever. So it's like weird to be on this side of it, but it's way better. Okay, so we talked about sobriety. We can also, if anyone cares, we can talk so much about horny.
Okay. Careful to,
yeah. Oh, yeah, about horniness culture forever. That was on the agenda, but we can come back to that another time.
We'll come back to horniness culture. We'll come back to horniness culture. Yeah.
So much to say about that, and not enough time today because we have more important things to talk about.
Yes.
Like our manifesto.
Yep.
So me and Amanda have sat here and tried to determine, what do we believe in life? What do we want out of life?
What the hell do we believe in life, huh?
Yeah. What do we want to do with this podcast? Because we've kind of just been yapping, but like with intention. It has felt intentional, but now we're trying to be actually intentional.
Yeah, like we sat our happy asses down the other day and like wrote, like we were like, let's write an agenda, you know? Like, and we were like, it felt awesome to like sit there and like literally write this all out, you know?
Yeah, we're usually cuffing pretty hard, but right now we have an agenda. We have things written down. So yeah, I think we wanted to talk about our life philosophies, and Amanda and I feel like come from very different, maybe not that different. You come from Slow, I come from Huntington Beach, but like different ways we've come to our own life philosophies.
Yes.
But we've both arrived in very similar areas. And so, yeah, I don't know, Amanda, if you want to start, I feel like this one I've stolen from you and used all over the place.
Oh, okay. My number one, maybe not my number one, probably this is my number one life philosophy. This is, when I first heard this quote, I literally was like, holy fuck. Like I was like, this changed my life. Rejection is not a reflection of your value, but a reflection of your compatibility. Oh, love that. And you always say, rejection is redirection, which is also I like that a lot too. But yeah, that is literally the best goddamn thing I've ever heard in my entire life, especially going back to like dating again and like stuff like that. That just like, it just eliminates so much fear for me.
I was gonna say, like, rejection is a really big fear thing. So if you can like tackle, I feel like reframing what, like, as when I've been saying this, like, rejection is redirection thing, it like reframes the like being told no. Like, even for me, like in a job aspect, like if I'm being told no at work, or if I'm like not happy or content at a job, I'm like, this isn't like a sign that I suck. It's like a sign that like I'm meant for something better than this.
Exactly.
Like, this just is not right for me.
Yeah, and it's like, no is basically the closing of one door, right? But that in turn opens just so many other doors that are so much more compatible and like fun and like aligned for you. And that just, oh my God, I love that so much. And yeah, it basically just eliminates so much fear for me, like with dating, with even like housing, like if I were like when I was applying to places, or like school, or just like friendship, and just like being told no is like freaking beautiful.
It's
low-key
awesome.
Sometimes, you know.
I agree. I think getting comfortable with rejection makes life much more enjoyable, because you're not always, I don't even want yes people around me. Like, I want my friends to tell me no. And I want them to be like, no, what are you doing? Or like, there's a better way to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
So I think that we both align very much so with the concept of that. And like also not letting things like the value of no be your value, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I remember back in the day, I was like way more kind of into this, but I was super into like the idea of rejection therapy. You know, where it's like people like, it's so funny, like shit I'd see online or something. It'd be like some girl and she'd be like, can I have $100 to people? And just like basically would just try to have people be like, no.
Just getting used to being told no.
Just getting used to that and not letting that stop you from what you want, or like,
it's defeating. Getting defeated, I feel like, is a very real like big feeling.
Yeah.
And, like you have to, getting rejected can feel defeating, and then you have to like pull yourself out of defeat, and that's a whole
and that's a
thing.
tough one. Like defeat sucks.
That's why I got a therapist. I was hella defeated.
Yeah, I mean, I've been feeling very one day I could hopefully talk about what the hell I'm like is going on in my life right now, because
we'll beat your ass into sobriety and therapy.
Yeah, dude, like, good God. But like defeat, like, I feel like I've been like going through a lot of just like surrender and like
You're so ready for AA.
No, I can't wait. I'm like the most perfect client.
Yeah, they're gonna love you.
But yeah, so I just surrendering, and you know, rejection is not a reflection of your value, but of your compatibility.
This next value philosophy, I feel like is also very attuned to they're all going to be attuned to the both of us, but authenticity over conformity.
Woo!
I feel like you're a weird little freak. I'm a weird little freak.
So what are you talking about?
No. You're so normal. Yeah, and even here, like, it's written down, like, we reject the idea that anything is too weird, too strange, or too embarrassing.
Okay.
You have something to say about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, especially me. I feel like people love to tell me things about myself that, like, people I don't even really know sometimes. Obviously, the words of close friends, like, you know, I'm going to obviously really take to heart, and criticism too. Like, I love criticism, and usually
that's not
like,
the way people talk to you about your weirdness. Though.
No, okay, yeah, I'm going off on another thing now.
I'm like, that is not.
People always tell me, like, what the fuck did somebody tell me the other day? I was like, I was too.
You were too much for someone. Oh yeah, like people were like, we were in a group setting or something about like what kind of people you would date or something.
Yeah, and I was like talking about this one person, and then one of somebody was like, Amanda, you're like way too weird for that person. And I was like, what? Like, I was like, it made me feel so like diminished to like, I was like, okay, so I'm like too weird to be able to like have like a normal like love, or like a normal like a normal encounter.
Person won't like me.
It's like, also again, like, men love to say this to me. Men are always like, you sure talk a lot, huh? Like, you kind of talk too much, or you know, things like that. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I got a podcast, bitch. No, but like, I was like, you know, I'm always like, to this.
Yeah, same.
Or something. And I feel like that, just taking that out of your vocabulary is like,
I also think
gonna benefit you.
It's one of those things where people are like, you're so brave. Like, for being weird. You know, like people do with like plus size women for like wearing a bikini online. They're like, you're so brave. And it's like, I'm just a woman in a bikini online.
It's so backhanded. It's like the Instagram comments thing.
Oh, that I was gonna
Yeah, it's like, wow, it's so good to see you're like
happy.
That's kind of different, but it's like
same kind of vibe though. No, I get it, where it's just like, oh, you're so weird. It's so like bold of you. It's so like interesting. And it's like, I'm actually just being myself, and you're making me feel weird for being weird. And I like being weird personally. I will deem myself weird to others all the time.
Weird, yeah.
I'm weird. Like, I think, because like, to being weird is just being abnormal. It's just being out of the normal of what people expect you to be. And I'm like, I'm just literally being myself all the time. I
even
just
having to like dissect this like feels like almost like cringe to me, to be like, I'm weird, but it's like it's just
about authenticity at the end of the day. It's really just about like, you're weird because you're just being yourself, and there are a lot of people in this life. We talk about it all the time. People are living like the simple life. Those are just, you're just following the status quo. You're just doing what you think you're supposed to do. Maybe some people it's authentic, but like, just do you, man. Yeah.
And I mean, with that too comes in turn, I don't know if this is another little bullet point on our thing, but when you're not acting out of like authenticity or being yourself, it's literally harming everybody around you. And not only yourself, but just like everybody around you. And like, again, I'm getting so woo on this episode just because I'm like so
it's philosophy,
spiritual, like, yeah, like, but I'm just like, yeah, why would you, like, God like made you who you are, basically. Like, why would you like go against, like, okay, this sounds fucking crazy. I'm also like not Christian, but it's like, why would you go against like the like universe's manifestation of like who you are, and like not fall into line of like what your vision and like path is supposed to be, that like you feel called to do?
Yeah, like internally, like the way you feel about yourself, like why wouldn't you express that externally?
It's so fucked up to do to the world.
I think of what we talk a lot about it in the manifesto, I think, where it's like you're meant to like live life fully, and every time you like diminish your own light or diminish yourself, it diminishes everything, because like
everybody around you,
it's like the personal is really important to the collective, like, so the individual is really important to the collective. So it's like if everyone is authentically themselves, then like we all benefit from that.
If you're like a fucking crazy person and like a psycho bitch, then like get help, but like, and like maybe don't do that.
That's usually not authentic. That's usually
not
reactionary.
Authentic. I was just like thinking about like how some people are like, I'm just being me, and they're like fucking people's boyfriends and shit.
I'm just doing me.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's like, I just love to fuck other people's boyfriends. I'm just doing me.
Yeah, I'm like, that's maybe not. Maybe don't do that.
Don't do that authentically.
If you're authentically doing that, I'm a little scared for my life.
Yeah, no, I think, the other things I really like out of the manifesto, right, this definitely comes from me, is like the idea, and this goes in line with authenticity, is like autonomy and self-determination. Like, I think it's really important for everyone to self-manage, and like to have, like, everyone knows what they want and what they need, and they should be able to get what they want and they need and determine those needs.
I love that.
Yeah, I think, because if you ask anybody, like, this is something I do to like test anarchy with people, is like, people are like weird about anarchy, or like, what does it mean? It's just like chaos and like no whatever. And I'll be like, do you think every single person knows exactly what they need themselves, just for themselves? And every single person is like, yeah. I'm like, do you think you know what you need and you could determine your own needs and then find the resources for those needs if they're provided? People are like, yeah. And I'm like, that's the central point of anarchy. It's just that you know what you need, and if someone provides those resources for you, you'll go get it. So I think that's super important, and that everyone, like we were talking about, everyone has the right to like build their own path and like go their own way and live life authentically and do them.
Amen.
That's really important.
Yeah, and it's funny, especially now that my frontal lobe is fully developed at this ripe age of 25. Yeah, it's so funny to like reflect too on like my life and stuff, and like how, I mean, people were always just like would say shit about how I would like dress, or like you know, like, or like if I like even just like having tattoos or like coloring my hair and stuff like that too. It's just like, it's not even like I'm doing anything like fucking groundbreaking, profound, fucking crazy, like, obviously, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like I always just like grew up with like people trying to like put me in a box of like, you're to this, and it's just like,
it's so funny because you're talking about this and I'm thinking about this story I was telling my boyfriend earlier, just like a tangent, but I'm like, even in subcultures, people try to put you in a box. Like, I was telling this story. I mean, I was telling the story about how I went from a scene kid into the punk scene. And, like, some people remembered me being seen and would, like, use that against me and be like, oh, you're the hot pink pants girl. Like, everyone knows you as the hot pink pants girl. And they would try to put me in a box of, like, I should look like this and I should act like this because I'm punk. And if I ever was a different kind of alternative or whatever, it made me less authentically punk. And I was like, I actually got here in like a really natural progression, and like
had literally a pipeline of
a literal like emo scene, metal, punk, like it just all went together. And also like I got to the scene because it felt authentic to me, and like I went to a show as a scene kid and like cosplayed as punk basically, and then was like, I feel so aligned here, and like I just feel like I found my people, and that's what brought me there. So even I was just thinking, like, even in the ways, like, subcultures will, like, put you in a box and, like, remove your authenticity because they want you to, like, fit in the subculture. Even, like, in an area that you think is so, like, authentic or anti-conformity, like, punk culture. It was like, get your fucking ripped jeans with the patches on, girl. Take the hot pink pants off. Jeffree Star t-shirt off.
Keep the Jeffree Star t-shirt on. That stays on. Okay. Yeah.
They're like, girl, go put your circle jerk shirt on.
Yeah.
And get in the pit. And I was like, I'm gonna put a little blouse on.
Yeah.
And a little ripped jean.
It's so funny. One of our buddies, when she was like, "Oh fuck, I'm alternative." Like, fuck. When she was in high school or something, she's like, "Life's gonna be a lot more difficult from me here on out, dude." Like,
oh my god.
Rather than doing the old, any other variation of a high schooler or whatever, it just made me laugh.
That's so funny. It's funny because you can tell when our manifesto hits like all of my values.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, my life philosophies also include like anti-capitalism and anti-war sentiments and stuff too. Free Palestine. So that is in our manifesto.
We have this manifesto literally like written out right now. Like we should probably like
we'll post it.
We'll post it eventually. Yeah.
We'll post it.
We need to critique. We need to tweak a little things, but it's still fire.
Yeah, and it was in our research of coming up with our life philosophies that we were able to like get these basics out. So
yes,
it's good for this episode. But yeah, and like then it gets into like the personal is political. Like I think everything is political, whether or not you're a political person. So, and that like I was saying, the individual is important to the collective and vice versa, and all of that is political. Mm-hmm. Everything you touch is political all the time. I'm like, if you drive on streets, it's political. Someone had to pave those streets, pay for those streets, stuff like that. So that's the vibe. Yeah, and then it gets back into some more stuff. But we were talking about no, right? And like how saying no is really powerful. And like rejection and stuff, like getting told no. But there's also the idea of like, then if you're comfortable with the idea of no, then you can then say no. I love to say no to things.
Oh yeah.
I love to say no. You should say no more. Say no.
Say no.
Say no.
It's pretty hard for me to say no sometimes, but
you've been really good with me. At least
yeah,
you're like, no. I'm like, you want to do this today? And you're like, no. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, especially given I'm never going to shut the fuck up now about how I'm like sober and like really proud of myself. But like, especially now that I'm not drinking and stuff, like I feel so much more like I have to focus on like certain things where it's like, I have to go to yoga today. Like I have to do this, or like I have to like paint tonight, or like things like that where we're like, I am getting a lot more comfortable with saying no, but it is hard because I feel like I love to like juggle 1,000 things and like friendships and stuff. But dude, like we were just saying, like it's like I literally want to show up as my best self for the people that I love, and like I need to take care of myself and fucking, so.
I think that's a thing that you and I have in common, and also brought us to our therapist. And also I think aligns us both in this podcast when we've been talking and stuff too, is just like, the idea is to be the best version of yourself. And that sounds really simple and easy, but I don't think that everyone lives that way. I don't think everyone wants to be the best version of themselves. And I don't think if they do, I don't think everyone takes the actions to get there. Like, I feel like that is also the really hard. Like, you can always want to be the best you, but are you actually going to do it? And I think you and I do it painstakingly so sometimes.
Oh, that goes into the one thing where it was like, make the hard decisions, or it's like take the like my
tough
God.
Choices build character.
Bam, that was next on the list. All right, but pardon me. God, I've been one day, everybody, I'll talk about it, but like I feel like I've just been having to make like really difficult choices lately, and I'm like, I have to make the choice that's going to be best for me, like in the long run. Like I no longer want to just fall into like comfort. Like I want to choose uncomfortability and like be in that like uncomfortable state if it's going to benefit me in the long run.
I think discomfort is super important. I definitely like, I think too, it's not linear always either. Like I'm thinking about my own examples I'm not going to go too in depth about here.
There's times where you need comfort and like you need to prioritize that and stuff.
Not even just that, but like the idea, no, like discomfort is good, but like making the tough choice, like sometimes you make the tough choice and you get to the new place and then you fall back into the normal choices. Like, I think that's at least in my experience. Like, I've made hard choices that were like completely life altering, and then when presented with the choice again, I've made the same choice again.
I mean, that literally just happened to me too. God, my ex-boyfriend and I have been broken up for a minute now, but like, we like broke up, got back together, broke up, got back together, broke up. And I was like, oh my fuck. Like, I was like, I can't, and because I was like, I'm gonna make this hard decision. I know this is what's best for me, like, yada, yada. And then I was like, and then I would be like, oh God, I just need comfort so bad right now. And then like, oh, you know, and then like, it was just, you know, fucking, and then it finally fucking happened, like, fucking, come on, you know? And then, I was just like, it all starts here today, boys. You got me that fucking whiteboard. I've literally just been like, I feel like I'm just on such a path right now of like,
I feel that same way right now.
Hard decisions are good, and I'm gonna go through this discomfort, and it's good, and I feel so much fucking better, dude. Like, I like my life again. Like,
yeah, the short-term pain for the long-term gain, dog.
Whoa.
No, it's so nice. I feel like I got to the same point too. Like, it's just a year out from me, but like a year ago, I was like in the same kind of spaces where I was like, I hate my life and I have a lot of tough choices to make and I don't want to make them. And then one day I just snapped and made them all.
literally in snapped. Like a week. Yeah, you did. You went crazy pants with it.
2-3 days. But yeah, so making tough choices has been really nice for making life livable.
Exactly, yeah. And I love living in Long Beach again. Like,
yeah, you hated it for a second.
Yeah.
Which I vibe with. I get that. Last year when I was mad and I was in the bar culture and I was like reshaping my life, I was like, fuck everybody who lives here.
Yeah, I was just like, I just didn't really feel like that aligned with like some of the, like the community and like stuff like that. But I just, man, I just feel so much better. You know, I feel so much more thankful and like happy and like where I'm at. And I feel like I'm doing really good. Anyway, sorry, that like totally got out of the like philosophy area.
No, it's good. Philosophies are good. Our philosophy is that tough choices build character, and then we have had to live those choices and build our character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you started mentioning it too, like the other thing we talked about a lot, and I think has come out a lot in our discussion of like, what do we stand for? And like, what are we trying to do with this podcast? And who are we as people? Is like, community is super important, like for both of us, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And like that, the community is like where your strengths lie. And like, even in I feel like even in this podcast creation that we've been doing, like obviously like you are the podcast producer and like you have all these skill sets and stuff. And even when we go do like our photo shoots for the podcast and stuff like that, like you are the person with the camera, taking the pictures, doing camera direction and stuff. Like you have just these skill sets that come along for our like creation here. And I'm like an ideas guy. Like,
no, you're amazing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I love to like organize and like have ideas and like push things to a new direction. And I just think that like we pair so well together. Like I'm like, we should do this, and you're like, I can make it happen, and I'm like, incredible. And then we just like tweak it together. Perfection. And I think like that is a very small way in which community works too. It's like everyone brings their little skill sets and their like things to the table that make things so much stronger. Like I feel like it's like everyone talks about community, like I love community, I love this, but we live in such like an individualistic space. It's like actually like actively engaging in community. Like I have never seen someone's birthday posts be so long on Instagram in my life until your birthday.
For lol.
I was like, this bitch is loved. Even on your birthday, I saw people come up to you and be like, you're so loved. Like so many people came up to you and were like, you're so loved. And like that is based off of you building a community, and you like connect all your people. Like I know all your people.
Hell yeah.
And I live in Long Beach and I live all over the place.
Like, yeah. Oh, it's just so funny to like do too. Yeah. Like I feel like my birthday party was a really good time for that because I had so many people from so many walks of my life come, like people that I knew in high school, like people from like, you know, just like, It was super funny to like have that with like Long Beach squad, my like besties from like home, and like just my like other general besties, and like blah, blah. It was fucking dope. It was so fun.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and like it's nice, it's inspiring. Like me and Steph have talked about it, like my person that I run the book club with, other bestie, like she was like, we were both like, wow, we don't have any childhood friends. You have so many. And like, you just build these really strong connections over time, and you have like a really strong support system, a really strong community behind you. I think it's like really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. I think
you do too.
Yeah. I built that shit over the last few years. Yeah. I'm like, I have a few friends I've had since like high school, but yeah, I built community with a very, very specific intention, and it's worked out really nice for me, but I needed a lot. Like I was at a point in my life where I knew things were going to go really awry for me. Mm-hmm. So I was just being the best buddy ever to everyone all the time.
She was going to hit the front.
I was like, you need a ride at 3 a.m. I got you. Like you, whatever you need, everybody, I'm there for you. Cause I was like, I'm going to do something drastic soon. I know I am going to need people to catch me. And so I spent a really long time building community, and even the book club, like they showed up in all of my most tragic moments.
Hell yeah.
And like, yeah. And so I think when you build intentional community, like everyone is better for it. The people involved get these like really authentic, genuine, great connections. And then also you have people to lean and fall on, because everyone falls sometimes. Even your strongest friend be falling.
Even the strongest. Yeah.
We be falling.
Oh.
So I think, yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, I'm like, we already talked so much about sobriety, sucked our own dicks on that one a bunch. Yeah. And then a culture of care. I feel like that's a good way to wrap it up too. I think in talking about community and stuff, like intentionality, like caring for people around you, like about their emotional, physical, and mental health. Or like we were talking about, like when you say no to me because you have other things, I'm not like, what the fuck? I'm like, oh, I care about Amanda's mental, physical, and emotional health, and she has said no to me because she has prioritized something that is better for her mental right now, or her, like she's gonna go do yoga, or she's gonna paint, or she has plans with another friend that like serves her in a different way. Like, you know, I just think that if you come at it with care.
Yeah, and another comment on that too is like, I feel like it's important to be vigilant when people kind of want to drive you away from your community.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
Oh, that was another thing that happened to me pretty recently. Like, I had someone kind of give me like an ultimatum where yeah, they were, I mean, fucking, you know. And so I was just I was like,
involved in the ultimatum.
Fuck you. Yeah. Basically somebody was like, okay, like it's either I'm like, fucking
you can always cut this out.
When men specifically are like, it's either me or your friends, or like your like closest line to like friendship and community, and having somebody be like, hey, you need to check yourself right now. That's fucking weird.
I have definitely had an experience where a man started being like, I don't like your friends, and I was like, we're gonna have a problem here. Yeah. Like, I have multiple instances, actually, and I've always been like, you're about to sign yourself up to say goodbye to me.
Yeah, that's literally what happened. I was like, all right, fucking late. Yeah. Because I was like, dude, I can't not have my team, bro. Yeah.
And I think even on the same thing you're saying, like, people pulling away from a community, like, while we're talking about our life philosophies and stuff, like, the other thing to remember is, like, it should alert you if someone is trying to make you compromise your values in life. Like, when you have people in your life, you should be building those values together, or maybe even, like, tweaking and refining them, or finding things together that are new philosophies and values and beliefs. But, like, if someone has tried to take you and stray you from, like, core beliefs and values you have, like, that's not a person you should keep around you at all. We've had to do that in book club, where, like, we say our values very clearly and, like, what we're into, and the moment someone starts to be like, well, what about this and what about that, and like, are you guys about like, what if I act like this, and like says like weird shit, we're like, okay, well, your values don't align here, so like we should reassess our relationship here, because like, I'm not gonna compromise me for you.
Yeah, I love me more than I love you.
Straight up every time.
Weird fucker trying to tell me what to do.
Every time. Let's
pause for a second. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, sirens. Well, yeah, those are our philosophies to share today.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good, I feel like at least the tip of the iceberg to the manifesto. We should do like a full ass, written ass manifesto.
I can make a zine.
Episode. Yeah, that's fire. Yeah,
Marketing.
okay, come on, visuals and...
yeah, Steph can format it for
Yeah, we got the format, homie.
We got the printing, homie. We're good.
We got the, all right.
Oh, we're going to make stickers?
Oh, yes.
If you want a sticker, comment below.
Yeah, we'll
get you a sticker.
We're going to be doing the wizard stickers.
And then the, like, American Heaven vibe stickers, right?
The, the, like, camp-ass, like, other stickers. And, we're going to be doing that. Super excited about that. Zine on the way.
We have lots of visions now, which is really fun. We kind of just been hanging out, being friends, making a podcast, and I think we are starting to get a vibe for what we're aiming for here and what kind of information we want to share.
Oh, thank you again, everybody. Stay tuned and
stay authentic and weird.
Stay weird.
Stay weird, Portland.
Yeah, oh my God, Jesus Christ.
And then, I think we'll keep talking about weird topics that we like to talk about. It's weird because this is like literally what we talk about as friends.
Sorry, I just like.
No, I know I'm screaming, but it's literally what we talk about as friends, and so now we get to talk about it on camera on a microphone.
Feels awesome to have an outlet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Amanda Berger School of Awesome.
Amanda Berger School of Awesome. Opossums.
School of Possums. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you on the next one.